what's it called? Let me just delete it and put it back in. There you go. I gotta fix that. I gotta fix that. Crop it. There you go. Because that's not gonna work, fellas. There you go. Yep. I'm Kendrick Lamar. AKA Domingo Descartes. Kill them all, dead bodies in the hallway. So stupid, bro. Whatever. Yeah, we're back. Sorry that took a little bit. Always gotta make the thumbnail while I'm streaming because I am not making a thumbnail while I'm not streaming. Gotta make it as stupid as possible. But like I said, I would come back, and I did. So you know, we're here to continue with Channel Holy Night. I don't know how long I'm gonna be going for because it is late. It is legit 3 in the morning, so I'll probably stop like at 4:30 because again it is late. But I did want to at least continue for a little bit, so you know, let's see how far I can get. By evening, only Souyjuro remained in the chapel. He sat alone at the end of a pew, slouching helplessly like a guilty believer ready to confess. The chilly air seeped through the walls, turning breath to mist. The frigid air stole the heat from the body without mercy. Souyjuro looked around at the chapel's tall ceiling and spacious hall. The room made the air feel colder somehow. Unsure of what to do with himself, he stared into space. His thoughts were entirely unfocused. First and foremost, he could not understand what the buzzing sensation was in his chest. Time passed by, no answers came. To onlookers, he must have seemed deep in thought, or in a deep sleep, like he would turn to stone if left be. Either way, he clearly looked down. The problem was his lack of awareness, not that he was aware of it, of course.
Oh yeah. 夜間の礼拝とは関心です。
Souyjuro raised his head, and turned to where the voice had come from. I gotta turn the music down a little bit, it's a little loud. There you go. Let me see. Stood before the altar was the man from last night, dressed in priestly garbs. How long had he been standing there? Sound reverberated dryly throughout the chapel hall. Souyjuro did not have the strength to stand, let alone leave. He just stared at the approaching shadow. The priest pointed at Sojuro's pew. Without waiting for an answer, he took a seat at the opposite end. Father Erie spoke in gentle but uninvested tone. He was a thorough egoist. Souyjuro knew all too well about people who spoke this way. The individual who cared for him when he first came down from the mountain was one of them. Souyjuro glanced across at him apathetically. Father Erie seemed unfazed by the lack of direction to the conversation. Souyjuro responded with a nod. Father Erie replied with an artificial smile. Souyjuro stared straight ahead as he answered, his voice sounding uncharacteristically weak and unsure. With those few words, Souyjuro snapped out of his funk. He clapped his hands and turned toward the priest. Father Erie did not respond to his confession-like ramblings. Father Erie looked at Souyjuro placidly. His pupils were like black holes that could suck the soul out of your body. Souyjuro was not sure what he had done. It sounded as though the priest was accusing him of something. Then again, it was a reasonable question, if a little pointless. Souyjuro had no answer. Father Erie ignored the sullen boy and continued.
山での生活に比べれば都市のあり方は楽園以外の何者でもないでしょう。ですが楽園の定義は人それぞれです。
Sojo still did not answer. His expression remained blank. The only sound was the priest's voice echoing around the chapel.
一粒の種の誕生すら喜びになる生活。電気の明かりがどれだけ暖かでも自然のままの厳しい寒さを君は尊んでいたはずです。なのになぜ降りてきたのですか。山にいれば君は幸せだったでしょう。
Father Iri repeated his question. Sojuro's mouth remained firmly shut. Not because he did not want to answer, but because he simply did not know how to. All he knew was even if he wanted to go back, he could not.
困ったものです。そこをはっきりさせないことにはいつまでも救いがない。故郷を捨てた理由もわからないのに旅先の土地を愛することなんてまっとうな人間にはできませんよ。これは忠告ですが、全てを無条件に肯定したところで幸福になれるとは限りません。あなたはもう少し自分の心を許してあげないと。
Sojo could not make sense of what he was being told. Only the father's last words made an impression on him. Being fair to yourself is easier said than done, of course. And what that entailed, Sojo was uncertain of.
そういえば
Toko had mentioned something similar before, and it had impressed him. First her, now this priest. How could people know things he hadn't even told them?
すごいですね。神父さんっていうのはみんなそうなんですか。
Oh, sorry. Sojo said, curious as to where the weight of his shoulders had gone to. In a way, one of his strong points is the fact that his emotional scars do not show on the surface.
ええ、神父は悩みを暴くのが仕事ですから。ま、大抵は暴くだけで埋めるのに失敗するんですけどね。
悩みを暴くってつまり相談事ですか。
そういうソフトなのも承っています。私が解決できる悩みなどたかが知れているようですけど。
The priest shrugged, looking a little disconcerted. Granted, Sojo still did not trust Father Iri at all, but at that moment anyone was a ray of light in his eyes.
じゃあたかが知れた程度の悩みを聞いてもらえますか。
君が青子をなぜ羨むかですね。
It was as though the priest could see right into the boy's soul with his serene eyes.
まあそういうことです。自分でもどうしてそう思うのかがわからない。でもあなたならそれを知ってそうだ。
知りませんけど、まあ無責任に答えましょうか。それはおそらくあなたには根拠がないからですよ。自分の色がないと例えた方が正確ですが。
Sojo squinted, trying to understand the priest's complicated yet concise answer.
ほら、そこです。君に優れた部分があるとしたら、その順応性です。山という異界から町に降りて、一人で暮らしていけたこと。ようやく慣れた常識の中で、青子たちという非常識と関わっても暮らしていけたこと。そうであると努めているにしても、あなたの順応性は際立っている。原因は知りませんが、君には初めから自我というものが第一に現れてはいないのです。何事にも対応できるものの、種に交わるほど器用でもない。強いて言うのなら、色の乗っていない空白ですかね。風景に溶け込む自然さは素晴らしい人徳ですが、自我がないということは居場所がないということですから、いいことばかりじゃありません。ユイカにまで見えないというのは予想以上でしたが、姿なき精霊すら捉えるあれが見えなかったのですから、 君の無欲ぶりも筋金入りだ。
As if amused by something, Father Erie grinned. However, Souyjuro understood neither the meaning of his smile nor his words.
憶測に過ぎませんが、青子はあなたを見て反感を覚えたと思いますよ。自分のないあなたは自己を押し通してきた彼女にとって認めがたいものだったでしょうから。そして同時にあなたは青子に自分ではどうしても手に入れられないものを見てしまった。言葉にするとくだらない表現になりますが、そういうことです。先ほどは嫉妬と言いましたが、それは訂正しましょう。君は青子に、いや、いいです。言葉にするのはそれこそ野暮だ。
Father Erie smiled gently. It was a fresh-faced skin that belied his age. Whenever it came to Alco, he seemed to forget his role as a priest. That was irrelevant to Souyjuro.
神父さん、それで結局自分は青子のどこら辺に憧れてるんですか？
Souyjuro responded to Father Erie's ramblings by being direct. Some would say the priest had been direct himself, but this was Souyjuro. Ain't anything spelled out.
今のでもわからないと参りましたね。こういうことは言葉を尽くすほど実感が湧かないものですが、まあ私も神父と呼ばれる身です。あなたは青子の過去を知っていますか？
詳しくは知りません。高校デビューとかおかしな言葉を口にしてましたけど。
全く知らないということですね。いいでしょう。ではしずき君、虐待のない例え話ですが、君は突然自殺しろと言われて従えますか？
自殺ですか？
そう、自殺です。神父である私が口にしていいことではありませんが、まあ私は格好だけなのでいいでしょう。青子がね、近いことを求められたのです。15歳の時に。彼女がそれまで積み重ねてきた努力も希望も過去も未来も全て捨てること。今日からお前は違う生き物として生きろとね。どうです？それは自己の抹消、未来の死と同じだと思いませんか？
His words fit what Alco had said about her past. Until middle school, she led a normal life. Then out of blue, she became the family heiress in place of her sister. Becoming a magician meant casting aside the life she had known. She had to leave behind her ambitions and prospects and live the life of a mage, something she barely knew anything about. The life up to that point had taught her that everything from then on would bring misery. Alco's grandfather was not the forceful type. Your sister has failed. Now it's your turn, he said. Did Alco resist? Souyjuro could not begin to imagine. All I knew was that she could not be happy with the hand she was dealt. Even if life of a magician was attractive, to believe the possibility that Alco could give up her lifestyle up to that point was to not know her at all. Alco Ozaki put her all into everything. She had probably achieved a lot in those 15 years. Her achievements and prospects were no doubt enough to make anyone jealous. But she did have the conviction to throw those away and go back to... But did she have the conviction to throw those away and go back to square one? And square one did not come close to reality of it. The future she had envisioned for so long would have been obliterated.
青子はどうしたんですか？
いやー、これがもう 全くの頑固者でして、立ち会った私でさえどうかと思うぐらい簡単にうなずきました。震える指を懸命に握り込んで、やってやろうじゃないと見栄を切ってね。彼女は祖父の期待や青崎の責任感からではなく、逃げることを嫌って魔術師の道を取ったんです。拒むことは逃げではないのでしょうが、青子にはそう思えたんでしょう。逃避という行為はこれまでの自分の時間を否定することになると、今までの自分を嘘にしてしまうのなら、今までの生活に別れを告げることを青子は選んだのです。まあ極端ではありますが、あれは前に進むためなら全てを捨てられる人間なんです。
An affectionate smile crossed Father Erie's face. Rather than signaling his closeness to Alco, it conveyed the pride of a guardian.
ですが、私も思い違いをしていました。結局はそうなるように、青子は育てられていたのです。彼女の祖父は、瞳子が家を出ることも、青子が跡継ぎを了解することも読んだ上で、あの二人を育ててきた。形だけですが、私も神父としてさすがにそれはどうかと思いましてね。柄にもなく青子を説得したものです。祖父の思い通りになることはありません。なんなら私とメキシコあたりに逃げませんかと。しかしまあ躊躇なく振られました。その時の彼女の返答は今でも一言一句覚えています。
だって私一人がどんなに泣き叫んでも今の状況は変わらないんでしょ。私にしかできないなら正面から受けて立つ。たとえ不本意で突然投げ込まれた川の中でだってできることはあるはずだもの。逃げるなんてのは最後の最後へ。それまではせいぜい華麗に踊ってやるわ。
The priest decided her words as if recalling lines from a favorite play. It certainly seemed like something she would say. The last thing Alco said in the room she was recovering and probably meant the same. Of course, when an audience is watching, you want their approval. However, approval must come from within first. Alco worked to feel proud of herself before worrying about how others viewed her. She at least wanted to do her job with grace. In response to everything she had lost, she would hang in there, even if it meant going in alone. That's why Souyjuro envied her, and that was obvious. Souyjuro, she lived her life with her head held high. He was a boy who accepted everything but had nothing. She was the girl who threw it all away but never lost a thing. He stood in the meeting room alone, seeing the ugliness within, and the sublime outside. Looking back, he finally realized what was eating him.
もういいでしょう。君は青子の容姿に感じ入ったのではなく、青崎青子という生き方に感じ入ったのです。ま、青子は青子でれっきとした美人ですが。
Souyjuro nodded. From the day he first met her, that was indeed how he felt. It just took him till now to realize it. The strength of her eyes and her unwavering will had captured his heart.
なんかすごい汗我慢だ。
本当に小娘のくせにギネス級の頑固さです。
Father Erie spoke from the heart. Souyjuro raised his head, gave a small grin, and scratched his cheek. So many hours wasted brooding like such an idiot. Part of him still felt strange, but then bothered him to leave the question unsolved for now. Unable to stay still, he stood up. He couldn't care less about the Awazaki family, mage battles, or Alco rushing off to her death. Right now, he just wanted to see her face.
お待ちなさい。病室は立ち入り禁止です。
The code words echoed around the chapel. They reached Souyjuro as he was about to head back to Alco. The sightless sister must have been waiting by the altar. She moved quickly to block his path.
ユイカさん、今病室には入れないんですか？
はい。しばらく人よけをしてほしいとクオンジ様からことづかっています。
アリスが。
Souyjuro was suspicious of why Alice would have said that. He could understand being kept out of Alco was being treated or if her condition had worsened, but it seemed different. Besides, Alco said her treatment had finished.
人がいいのですね、シスターユイカは。そんな方便をしなくてもいいんですよ。はっきり言ってあげればいい。今から病室に行っても無駄です。青子はとっくに出発しているんですから。
エイリ神父。
The priest began to explain everything from the pew he still sat in about things he and Souyjuro had spoken about, and why he, a stranger, would be so concerned about a person he knew nothing about. It all became clear to Souyjuro.
初めからそのつもりだったんですね。
Souyjuro's voice was full of anger, but Father Erie did not flinch.
申し訳ありません。青子にあなたの保護を頼まれたもので。彼女の準備が整うまでの時間稼ぎでしたが、私があなたと話をしたかったのは事実ですよ。
The priest's attempt to smooth things over was far from sincere. Souyjuro grit his teeth to control his rage. Why did they not stop Alco and Alice from heading towards certain death? Because both the nun and the priest were the same ilk as mages. As such, they understood Alco's decision, and the priest understood Alco too. Even if they did have the power to stop her, he would not have. The Alco Alazaki he knew was not about to hide away in a church and lick her wounds.
アリスは
青子と行きましたよ。あれから30分は過ぎていますね。
Father Erie even went as far as to divulge the time. 30 minutes ago, same time the priest reared his head. It would not take even half that long to get to the school from here. And then another 10 minutes or less to get to Misaki High's old school building from there. Souyjuro turned to the entrance of the chapel. However,
待ちなさい。どこへ行くつもりですか？
where do you think I'm going? The sound of her voice stopped him in his tracks. Unseen pressure had locked him in place. Her admonition? Admonition seemed to carry a spellbinding power, stopping the foolhardy boy where he
あ
stood.
なたは魔術師同士の争いを知りません。何の助力にもならないばかりか、彼女たちの足かせになるだけです。彼女たちが命を落とすのは彼女たちの業によるもの。望むままに傷つけ合えばいいでしょう。あなたのような何の咎もない若者が教示に立ち会うことはありません。
She spoke a quiet anger. Her contempt was not directed at Alco or Alice. Or at Alco or Alice, though, but Souyjuro for being so eager to waste his life.
何かしら希望があるのなら私も止めはしません。ですがこの件は別です。あなたが言っても彼女たちが助かることはありません。
She was right. It would be pointless for him to go. At the amusement park, he had been useless in the end. Now they faced something even worse. Couldn't even imagine how he might contribute this
言っ
time.
ておきますが、青崎青子は祖父に護身術を教え込まれています。魔術以外でもあなたより腕は立つ。
I want to say, Souyjuro was not useless in the amusement park. He just wasn't too helpful. He did help, just not by much.
その彼女もあの使い魔が相手では勝負にならない。
Souyjuro's physical strength, his only edge meant nothing. If he went now, he'd only get in their way. Yuika was correct, and yet
でも行かないと。青子には返さなくちゃいけない借りがあります。
he spoke calmly but firmly. Though almost moved, The sister frowned slightly. She felt bad for him, but her warning was for his own good. If he would not listen to reason, then she would have to make him sleep. She raised a finger, biting at
それを言う
Souyjuro.
なら返したい借りがあるですよ。
お
それとシスターユイカ、教会内での魔術は控えて。それを言うなら返したい借りがあるですよ。宗十郎君。それとシスターユイカ、教会内での魔術は控えてくださいね。
Sorry, I just saw a comment. I am paying attention, by the way. I don't want it to be misconstrued. I am paying attention. Albino cooking. Let's go. He's cooking again.
それとシスターユイカ、教会内での魔術は控えてくださいね。使うのなら史跡に留めてもらわないと私の査定に響きます。まったくおとなしそうに見えて律香君より短気なんですから、あなたは。
エイリ神父、しかし
行かせてあげればいいじゃないですか。それともあなたはやはり青子たちに退場してほしいと。
その問題と彼の献身は別の話です。改めなさい、しずきさん。あなたが言っても何もできはしないのですから。
The truth of the statement cut Souyjuro deep, but despite everything that was being said, his mind was made up. It always had been. Even if he was not certain, he could at least not hesitate. He always followed his instincts to the end, no matter where they took him.
分かっています。でも行かないと。ここにいたら本当に何もできない。
His heart burned in his chest. While he listened to the priest talk, he could only think of seeing Alka. He was not worried. He did not want to help. He just wanted to see her. He would figure out what came next once he got there.
ほら、献身なんて考え自体が間違ってるんです。足を引っ張ると言いますが、どのみち青子たちに勝ち目はないんでしょ。なら彼がマイナスになってもいいじゃないですか。どうせ破産するなら豪快に破産すれば。
This dude is such a menace.
ほら、宗十郎君、言って言って。シスター、今のあなたの返事で心が折れましたから。足、動くでしょ。
As soon as the priest pointed at Souyjuro, he could move again. The pressure weighing on his shoulders lifted, along with the fear in his heart. Could he help? Would he expose Alko and Alice to more danger? All such doubts had
行きま
vanished.
す。縁が残っていればまだ。
はい。なんであれ、後悔のない一日を。
And with that, Souyjuro began to run, as Father Erie watched with a look of satisfaction. The priest knew if he could not persuade Alko, he could not convince Souyjuro either. He watched the impetuous boy run away, as the blind nun listened to his footsteps fade into the distance. Yuika was different from Souyjuro and the priest. While she showed no mercy to corruption or self-righteousness, she embraced benevolence to the innocent. Such an ordinary boy with his life ahead of him, and yet he chose to follow heretics into hell.
最悪ですね、エイリ神父。分別のつかない子供を導くのが責任のある大人だと思いましたが。
She made no effort to hide her biting disapproval. It was simply her way of showing concern for the boy. Father Yuri shrugged.
だから、いろいろと間違えていますよ、シスターユイカ。責任のある大人なんて言葉自体がおかしい。何が起きても責任を取る。それが正しい大人というものです。
The rest went unspoken. It didn't matter to him which of them died. With a warm, goodly smile, the priest corrected the nun's misunderstanding. There you go. Which on the Holy Night too. Let's see. Go to the archives. Bit of a short one. Yeah. So I don't remember specifically. I think chapter 12 is the final chapter. Because I know something else is here. I can't say what it is, but I think chapter 12 might be the final one. So let me see. Where am I? 36 minutes. Oh man, that's funny. This is unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because I literally just started streaming. But it's late. I think I'm just gonna end it there. The fact that it's 12, or the fact that it's almost 4, it's just it's time to stop. So next time I stream, I don't know when it'll be, but I am gonna try to try to finish this game. So let's see what happens. But yeah, sorry for the short stream. Just consider it an extension of the last stream. So 2 hours and 10 minutes or something. Who knows? But yeah, we're here. If you haven't already, check out this video right here. Check out this video too, if you want. Yeah, 2 subscribers away from 300. That'd be kind of fire. But of course, you have free will, so I can't force you to do anything. But yeah, no. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next stream.